Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives, back for another ranking video. There is 3 bands in my collection with fairly large discographies that I still have not tackled a ranking video, and you know the one that we're going to talk about today. The other 2 Scorpions that I'm spinning in the background, maybe a subtle hint of who I will tackle next for a ranking video. They have, 18 to 20 studio albums to go through too. And the other one that I'd like to do is Black Sabbath, which I do have all of their studio albums in my collection. But KISS has came up a few times over the, past few years that I've been doing YouTube requests of, would you, could you, are you a fan, things like that. And you might not even know that I'm a fan because I don't really show that much KISS on my channel. Not that I don't like them. Actually, for me, my history with KISS goes all the way back 45 years. Christmas of 1978, there was a copy of Destroyer on vinyl underneath the tree for me, and kind of, I'm not going to say never looked back, but it was years that I was, listening to KISS, and I always kind of thought that was my pre-metal days, 78 till 82. Then I started discovering the Priests and Maidens and Dio and Crew, Rat, Doc, and stuff like that. And then, of course, you get into the thrash, and even at a later age, not too old of an age, I'm discovering some really good death metal too. But anyways, Christmas 1978. My birthday is on December 21st, so I usually got my Christmas / birthday money all together. So after I received Destroyer, and I love it to this day, and you're going to see where it falls in this ranking. So this is a bit of a me chirping away, and then we'll kind of rip through the ranking, because a lot of these albums you guys know, and you might want to just see where they end up with me. And I mean, out of the 1,000 KISS ranking videos, you're never going to see one that is the same as the other. That's the cool part. Really no wrong answers when it comes to this. And I'll throw in there that they really didn't make a shitty album. There's always some cool stuff to discover on all their albums. But anyways, back to me, pooling together my Christmas and birthday money. After having Destroyer, I went out and got myself this. I had it on vinyl back in the day, and there's some back in the day vinyl that I don't have a clue where it is to this day, but these are my original cassettes. So I bought myself double platinum, which is basically, the best stuff off of the first 6 KISS albums. Awesome. If you're new to the band, if you're watching this, you're probably not new to the band, but if you want just a best of the early stuff, this is the way to go. Double platinum. Awesome. Then I got myself a couple of the best live albums out there, in my opinion. I actually haven't listened to some of these in years. As far as the ranking goes today, though, I went through everything, and those memories started coming back. But anyways, here is Alive. And you know that the versions on this album are just spectacular. You know this album. You know how electric this was back in the day. And then, of course, KISS Alive 2, I bought myself that on vinyl. I absolutely wish I had them. I don't remember them being in a really great shape. I didn't take care of stuff as good as I do these days. But anyways, here's Alive 2 on cassette, my original cassette. Excuse me. This, the live portion of this is phenomenal. But what I loved about this, to be honest with you, the fourth side, the D side, if you want to call it, the extra studio tracks. Absolutely love the song All American Man. I think the riff, start of that song is just awesome. Larger Than Life, great song. And of course, another Ace song that I've always loved. There's one more I love more, but we'll talk about that in a little while. But the song is Rocket Ride, and then there's a cover of Any Way You Want It. A great cover, too. So, yeah, picked up those. I think my first my first newly released KISS album was Dynasty in 79. Picked that up. I'm pretty sure I had that one on vinyl, too. And then kind of just bought everything right up until kind of fell off after about 98, to be honest with you. And I want to throw it in here. I have nothing against Eric and Tommy. Well, of course, Eric's been in the band years and years. Eric Singer, I mean. And Tommy, why wouldn't you take that job? I have nothing against that. The only thing I'll say that's ever bothered me over the years is that they didn't get their own makeup. Because when Eric Carr came into the band, he had the Fox makeup. I was ecstatic. I thought, this is so cool. He has his own makeup. When Vinnie Vincent was in the band, he had his own makeup. And that's the only thing. I don't know if I'm probably not the only one that feels that way, but I get it. And you know what? Great musicians, Eric Singer and Tommy are. Like I said, why wouldn't you take the job? You are in KISS, and they made some good albums together here. Well, we'll go over that. Anyways, so yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there too, because yeah, nothing against those guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to rank the 20 studio albums separately, and we're going to go worst to first on that. But the solos, we're going to do the solos separately, and we're going to go from my favorite to my least favorite of the 4 solo albums that all came out in 78, which is same year that Double Platinum came out. And well, let's get started. You know these songs. You probably know everything about these albums if you're a KISS fanatic. Throughout here, I'll try to mention a couple of things, but you're probably here to see where my heart lies with some of these albums. And yeah, there's not much for weakness in there. KISS is KISS. We'll just leave it at that. So anyways, here is my favorite of the solo albums. Probably no surprise to a lot of people, but there's Ace Frehley, and there's my original cassette. I forget I was going to say what year did it come out. Of course, it came out in 78. Next up, second favorite, Paul Stanley. I absolutely love these covers. I love when they're side by side, and as a poster. I think I even had a poster of the 4 solo albums at one point. And coming in number 3, Gene Simmons and Peter Criss. I definitely like Paul and Ace's albums the best, and I'd say over the years those are 2 that I spun the most. So all right, let's rip into this ranking. I think I have a really good mix of newer, older type of thing. I guess I should mention too, I personally I guess maybe a regret that I didn't ever get to see KISS without makeup. I did get to see them twice with makeup. This is my original ticket stubs. First time I got to see them was the Alive Worldwide in 96, 97. So that was May 1st, 1997. Forget even how much that cost back then. Did it even say on here? That was pretty faded. So, and then the second time, got to see them in, this one doesn't have the year, but I know the year. This is KISS, the Farewell Tour. This is July 17th, 2000. That's the last time I saw them live. I've had opportunities, but just honestly, I don't know, no desire. I got to see them when I wanted to see them. Like I said, the only regret, I wish I would have got to see them somewhere around the, Lick It Up, Animalize, Asylum tour era. That would have been awesome. But okay, we are 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes in, so let's get through the ranking. Actually, this shouldn't go too bad, because again, these albums, and like I said, I have never seen one that's the same. I've hardly even barely seen, well, I would say number ones and number 2s I've seen a lot the same, but I just put a sticky note on each one of them just to remind me which number, because I hate when I lose track. But coming in at number 20, 2012's 20th studio album, and the last album they've done, Monster. Love the title track, Hell or Hallelujah. Yeah, I spit that out 5 times. Anyways, and this one wraps up for me. I love the last 2 songs, Take Me Down Below. Yeah, you got the corny lyrics and shit like that, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I still love it. And the final track called Last Chance, really great song. Yeah, and look at the KISS logo. They're even half blocking out the logo, and that's one thing that I thought about. This logo is as recognizable as the Ford car logo, Chevy, Coca-Cola. You know exactly what you're looking at when you're looking at this logo throughout the world. Super recognizable, marketing machine type of, you know what KISS can do. But anyways, there's my number 20. Number 19, from 1997, their 17th overall studio album. This is Carnival of Souls. I've seen this one very high in lists. I've seen it right dead at the bottom, which it almost is here, but I still don't think it's terrible. This is just not the sound that I was looking for. So you know the story behind this one. This album was probably completed, ready to go by 95-ish. Then the reunion happened. Then they kind of probably just shelved it until 97, obviously. Put it out because, yeah, they had back-to-back albums out, 97 and 98. Here's the back. A lot of people mention the word grunge. Yeah, you know, if you call stuff kind of sounding like Alice in Chains grunge, which I've never really, I know a band like that is lumped in with it, but it's just that sound. It's that darker sound, and there's some great tracks on here. Hate, the lead-off track. Jungle, or also Rain, that's not a bad song too. Childhood's End, just not one I go back to. It's just not a super memorable one for me. But there's my number 19, Carnival of Souls. All right, moving on. Number 18. And how many years passed? This is 11 years before they had an album. Number 18, from 2009, 19th overall studio album, Sonic Boom. First to feature Tommy and Eric in makeup as far as a studio album goes, and you know, first, yeah, obviously, first to feature Tommy on an album, period, unless he's got some other tracks or something I'm not sure about, but I'm pretty sure I'm right there. Anyway, Sonic Boom, just like I said, after 98 I kind of just fell off, but I still picked this up on release day, you know, and then there's that remake in here, which is pretty cool too. They redid a bunch of their older tracks, but tracks to mention, Modern Day Delilah, great track. One of my favorites, absolutely, though, is All for the Glory, which is sung by Eric, I believe. That is a great song. When Lightning Strikes, that's a Tommy. Yeah, and this is actually, come to think of it, this is the first time all four members have sung on an album since, let me know in the comments, what, probably, I want to say, I don't even know, Dynasty, maybe? Yeah, could be. Anyways, Sonic Boom, number 18, 2009. Coming in at number 17, the reunion album, you know, of all four members, but not really a full output from all four members, but this is my number 17, Psycho Circus. 18th overall studio album, 1998. Now, between the two ticket stubs I showed you there was a tour in between, which was this tour, where they all went out again. But the contributions from everybody is, you know, a little thin on a lot of this. Mostly Gene and Paul, some outside songwriters, you know, outside musicians type of thing. Favorite tracks, definitely 100% the title track. Love Psycho Circus, great song. Within, I love the Ace song, sang song, whatever, Into the Void. Great track. And then you got one where they're all singing together, You Wanted the Best. It's okay. It's kind of like one of those retro throwback songs of, you know, the old days, whatever you want to say. But there is, yeah, lenticular cover. Yeah, again, nothing new to you guys, but number 17 is Psycho Circus. Where are we? Now we're going to, what happened here is, let me grab this too. What even sparked this KISS ranking was a good friend of mine said, do you have this on vinyl? I said, no, honestly, I don't even have any KISS on vinyl. Hard to believe. Used to back in the day, but he sent me this 40th anniversary. He said, you got to have this. So this is the 40th anniversary of Creatures of the Night, you know, from 1982. And then that got me thinking, and then I went through my old Rubbermaid bin and dusted off all my cassettes, and I'm like, you know what, I've been asked to do a KISS ranking before. Definitely wasn't avoiding it by any means, but I've always said on YouTube, you kind of got to, you gotta save some ammo. You can't just empty the clip all in a few months, or else you'll struggle for some content. So I said, you know what, I will get to it. But then I got dusting off these cassettes. I'm like, let's do this. It's time. So for the majority of the rest of this ranking, it's all my original cassettes I'm going to show you. So I do hope to get some more Kiss vinyl in the future. I'm hoping this year that they do a 40th anniversary for Lick It Up. I would absolutely love that. That would be cool. But all right, let's continue. Number 16, 1989's 15th studio album, Hot in the Shade. By far my least favorite Kiss album cover. I'll throw that out there too. Unfortunately, last to feature Eric Carr on drums, who sadly passed away. You know that story too. But yeah, there is some great tracks on here. My favorite tracks aren't the Rise to It or Hide Your Heart. There's some really cool tracks on here. Betrayed would be one of them. Prisoner of Love, Silver Spoon, and Love You to Hate You. I think it's, yeah, is that what it's called? These are super small. You Love Me to Hate You. Great track. And, another thing, and before I forget, I'll throw it out there too. I don't know about all you Kiss fans out there, but when a new Kiss album came out, the first thing I did, or me and my buddy would do, we'd have almost pen and paper and write down how many songs were Paul, Gene, Ace, Peter, or you got into the 80s where it was just Gene and Paul. We would, oh, that's a Gene song. That's a, and always cool to see how they, there's some albums where it was 3 Paul songs in a row and then 2 Gene and then kind of mix up, flip flop, you know how it is. But we always did that. We wanted to see who was singing what and when, or whatever. That's just what we did, and you probably did too. So anyways, that's my number 16, Hot in the Shade, 1989. The one thing that could make this a better album, you probably know what I'm going to say. If you would have could trim off 4 of the tracks on here, make this a little more keep your attention type of thing, it would be a much better album. But it's not a bad album by any means. I'm not saying that. So coming in at number 15, we have Crazy Nights from 1987. Lots of big albums came out in 1987, and this is probably the most keyboardy Kiss got, produced by Ron Nevison, which, who else did he produce around that time? Ozzy's The Ultimate Sin he produced, and yeah, probably several others. But yeah, there's still some good tracks on this one too. Just, I would say probably one of the shining moments of some of these 80s Kiss albums is Bruce Kulick. He is an awesome guitar player, and we'll talk about exactly when he joined the band and what album, and we'll talk a little bit more in a second. But okay, tracks. Was never really fond of Crazy Nights. Bang Bang You, that's pretty much a disaster, that song. What songs did I really love? You know what? Reason to Live is not a bad song. I didn't mind that. Turn on the Night, but there's just not a lot of super memorable stuff. Thief in the Night was actually, I think Wendy Williams even recorded that song before Kiss did, because Gene produced Wendy Williams, I don't know, her first album, or when I had it, I know because it had the songs Bump and Grind on it, and I Love Sex and Rock and Roll. That album, very cool album from Wendy Williams. But yeah, Thief in the Night was definitely one of her songs on there too. There it is, number 15, 1987. 14th overall studio album. Coming in at number 14, might be a little bit low for some people. I've seen this one quite high, but I think the good on this album is great. But there's some stuff on here that it just isn't that good. Not as memorable or whatever, but considered one of their heavier albums too. This is Kiss Revenge from 1992. First with Eric Singer on drums. You know this cover, but I'll pull it out anyway. So bit of a glare that time of day. There's the cover. I actually love the cover. I love the lead-off track. It was cool to have Gene singing one of the heaviest songs, Unholy. Take It Off, I don't mind it. Corny lyrics, doesn't matter. God Gave Rock and Roll to You, honestly, not high on my favorites from Kiss. Never just really, I don't know, just didn't enjoy it that much. It's okay. Domino, okay. Heart of Chrome, second favorite track on this album. Thou Shalt Not, heavy track, really enjoy it. And of course, this one wraps up with Car Jam 1981, which is cool, produced by Bob Ezrin, which you, obviously, if you're a Kiss fan, you know that name throughout. So there is my number 14 from 92, Revenge. Coming in at number, where are we? Number 13. This one, I've seen this one several times, way at the bottom, but I don't mind this, and I still don't mind it to this day. I don't know. I don't remember exactly how I felt when this came out in 1981, but here's my number 13. Kiss, obviously Kiss. The music from The Elder, first to feature Eric Carr. He's probably thinking, what the fuck did I join here? But anyways, Eric's an awesome drummer, and he probably only made this album better. Tracks that I love. Just a Boy. I actually really love that song. I love how high Paul's vocals go on it. Dark Light, Ace, Primo, that is a great track. Only You, Under the Rose, A World Without Heroes, great song. The Oath, Mr. Blackwell isn't even that bad. And of course, we got the cool instrumental, Escape from the Island. There is my number 13. Music from The Elder from 1981. Coming in at number 12, 1980s, 8th overall studio album, Unmasked. I really enjoy this album. And when I started thinking about doing this Kiss ranking, I played this probably 3 times in a row. I mean, a lot of these albums are short. They're 30, I think some of them are 33 minutes to maybe 42 maximum. A lot of the older ones are even like under that, 33 to 37 minutes, let's say. So it's easy to play them back to back to back. But yeah, I really do enjoy this album. That word disco gets thrown in there all the time, but whatever. I couldn't give a shit. It's got some great stuff on it. So let's name a few favorite tracks. The one thing notable on here is Peter pretty much doesn't play on here. If you're familiar with Anton Fig of David Letterman fame, the late night talk show that used to be on, Anton was the drummer also for the house band, but great drummer too, great musician, period. All right, tracks. The Ace stuff on here is really good. Talk to Me, love that song. What else? Torpedo Girl, another one. Tomorrow, that's a good song too. Is That You? But my favorite track on here is called What Makes the World Go Round, sung by Paul. Absolutely love that song. So there is my number 12, 1980. 1980s, 8th overall studio album, Unmasked. All right, so that number 11, we have, I guess, yeah, obviously my least favorite of the first Kiss album, first 6 Kiss albums, but not a bad album. This one's contains what you call those classics, and there's probably tracks that they play live to this day still. But here's my number 11, Dressed to Kill, 1975's 3rd overall studio album. I don't remember I think I read something about they didn't even have suits to wear. I think these are, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I think they had to borrow these suits just to get this picture done. But yeah, pretty cool. Way back, 1975. Man, what a career these guys have had. But yeah, great tracks that I enjoy on here. Rock Bottom, Getaway is a catchy track for sure. My absolute favorite track on this album is Come On and Love Me. And of course, you know that Rock and Roll All Night, that's just one of those songs. If I never hear that again, I am good. But definitely need to hear Come On and Love Me several more times in my time, put it that way. All right, number 11. 1975's Dressed to Kill. Number 10, and then we're getting a couple, we'll be flip-flopping, but here's I'm going to say newer album, but it's really not. It is, it is now 39 years old, or is it? Yeah, 39. anyways, Animalize, number 10, 12th overall studio album. Here, you know what I'm going to tell you. The Paul side of this, there's 9 tracks on here. 5 are sung by Paul, 4 are sung by Gene. The Paul stuff on here is absolutely carries this album, and it is superb. It is, you obviously know that's the only album with Mark St.John on guitars. Pretty funky solos in there, like, some real shredding with this guy. But yeah, the Paul stuff, Heaven's on Fire, one of my favorite Kiss songs, period. But the leadoff track, I've Had Enough, Into the Fire, love it. Get All You Can Take, great song. Under the Gun is a heavy track, love it. Thrills in the Night. And out of the 4 Gene songs, man, if I had to pick one, While the City Sleeps, I would pick. The other 3. Yeah, not that great, but always love this cover. Always loved the yellow logo and the kind of the animal claw, Animalize type of whatever, you know what I mean. But yeah, there is my number 10, Animalize. Number 9, coming in at number 9, 1974's Hotter Than Hell. 2 albums released in 1974, just unbelievable. This one came out in, I think, October of 74. But yeah, I do love this album. This got some great tracks. We'll name them here. 2nd overall studio album. Yeah, maybe if you want to actually see a couple of these cassettes, I should actually hold them open. Yeah, they're not even rewound. Look at me. I should have fixed that. But anyways, there is a good look at that. Okay, tracks. Strange Ways. I've always loved that one. The title track, my favorite, absolute favorite track on this album, though, is Parasite. That it's a little darker. I guess the word you could use is the production. It's muddy. It's not as clear, but I still love this album. Like I said, Parasite, my favorite track on there. Number 9, Hotter Than Hell. Number 8, so yes, that was 1974. So that was, or was that 74? Yes, it was. Yes. So, and then in 74, we got the debut, Where It All Started. That's my number 8. So this one came out in February of 1974. And then October, Hotter Than Hell came out, the 2nd album. But a lot of classics on this one. And there's a couple on here that I care less about. But Cold Gin, Firehouse, 100,000 Years, great song, Black Diamond. But my 2 favorite tracks always have been Strutter and Deuce. I just love when they start off a show with either one of those tracks, which they've done over the years. But yeah, there's my number 8. Kiss, self-titled from 74. All right, where are we? Number 7. All right, here is a great album, in my opinion, 1985's Asylum, first with Bruce Kulick on guitars. We have 10 tracks, 6 sung by Paul, 4 by Gene. Cool cover. This is back to where the lip makeup is kind of a throwback to those solo covers, which were the colors of the lips of those solo. So that's pretty cool. And this is kind of how their heads were on the Dynasty cover too. Not the same 2 guys on the bottom, but same drummer, guitar player, same kind of position that whoever filled, you know what I mean. So I'm gonna babble on about that, but yeah, I know this cover is not super popular, but I don't mind it. But a great album. And Bruce Kulick, welcome to Kiss, because you were the shot in the arm that these guys needed. Underrated guitar player, in my opinion. Great songwriter. King of the Mountain, awesome song. Who Wants to Be Lonely? Trial by Fire, not a bad track at all. Tears Are Falling. Radar for Love, another great track. Some wicked guitar playing. Great solos on this. And as corny as All Night is, it's super catchy, and I would rewind that song tons and tons of times back in the day. But there is my number 7, Kiss, Asylum, 1985. Okay, coming in at number 6, We have 1976 and 2 albums in 76. You know what the other one is, but here is the my number 6, Rock and Roll Over. Absolutely love this cover. I mean, we've had people, tattoos of this album covers that was at Anthrax's last live album. Looked similar to this, so kind of a tribute to this. But yeah, great album. This one came out in November of 1976, produced by Eddie Kramer. So this one is definitely a little bit stripped back from Destroyer, which we'll talk about that one shortly. Yeah, great song. Great songs on here. I Want You, great lead off track. Calling Dr. Love, Ladies Room, Baby Driver, Mr. Speed, Hard Luck Woman, awesome song. Wrapping up with a song that I've always loved. It's called Making Love. 1976, my number 6, Rock and Roll Over. Number 5, and this is what I was just talking to you about on the, let's go back. We'll hold these up together. But here's my number 5 from 79. 7th overall studio album, Dynasty. So yeah, line up those. And yeah, kind of like a throwback to that. But anyways, my number 5, Dynasty. This one is, I think it's one of the only albums where Gene only sings 2 songs. And Ace has 3. Ace has 3. Yeah, we'll go through it. But yeah, Gene only has a couple songs on here, but I don't mind them. Charisma, I like that song. Hard Times, great song. X-Ray Eyes is the other one by Gene. I Was Made for Loving You. You know exactly that track. I love it. You throw the word disco in there if you want. I don't care. Still a great track. Love the bass. Just love the whole track. Dirty Living, 2000 Man cover song. Great one. But yeah, and I don't mind it. Charisma, I'll mention that one again. That's a cool song from Gene. But there's my number 5 from 79. Number 4 is an awesome album, and this one has a full cover of the cassette. But anyways, here is 1977's Love Gun, my number 4 favorite Kiss album. There's the spine on that one. Just awesome. This was the first time Ace sang lead vocals on a track, which is pretty much might even be my favorite Kiss track. Shock Me, you know the song. I think it actually might be. I'd have to really think about my top 20 favorite Kiss songs, but I Stole Your Love, awesome. Christine 16, Shock Me, Love Gun, the title track. Hooligan, not a bad song. Love Plaster Caster. There we go. Number 4, Love Gun. That only leaves 3 more. And number 3, my introduction to Kiss. And I think that's why it is as high as it is, because is there better albums below? That's up to you, but this one means a lot to me. Kiss Destroyer, 1976, one of 2 albums that year. This one came out in March of 76, and I didn't get to really hear it and own it till about 2.5 years later, but there is my original cassette. You know the tracks on this one, but we'll go over them again. My absolute favorite track on this album, I don't know if it was back then, but God of Thunder, love it. Great track. And I don't mind songs like Sweet Pain or Flaming Youth, Do You Love Me, Beth, Shout It Out Loud. The whole album, top to bottom, to me is great. And the memories that go back with it too. So there is my number 3, Kiss Destroyer from way back in 1976, leaving 2 left. And if you're guessing, if you're guessing along, you already know which 2 are left, but which one's going to be number 1? Number 2 is coming in at number 2, 1982's Creatures of the Night, 10th overall studio album. Absolutely love this album top to bottom. Love the sound. Love the production by Michael James Jackson, along with Gene and Paul. You know every song on here. Yes, Ace is on the cover, but Vinnie Vincent's on here. He's probably got songwriting credits for at least 2 to 3 songs, if not more. doesn't matter. But, and of course, Eric Carr, always loved his makeup. So cool. Yeah, Creatures of the Night, one of the best title tracks that Kiss ever did on an album. Yeah, Rock and Roll Hell, Danger, I Love It Loud, Love War Machine, Killer. Least favorite on here, yeah, Danger's a great song. Keep Me Coming, probably my least favorite, but there is my number 2. Leaving 1, and this, you already know what it is. This was a huge deal back in the day. I remember Kiss announces they're taking off the makeup. Here in Canada, we were watching Much Music for the video for Lick It Up, when that camera only showed from the neck down, and then it panned up, and it was just like, we went nuts. But here's my number 1. Love this album, and this one was even, excuse me, featured on my top 50 albums of all time. Kiss, Lick It Up, 1983, 11th overall studio album. Absolutely love this album, top to bottom. I would say this one and Creatures of the Night, I will throw it out there. This is some of the best songs, and I'm talking about Gene's vocals, and were just awesome. They were almost downright mean sounding, almost screamy in a way, if I'm describing that right. But Gene did a killer job on both those albums, as it did Paul for sure too. Exciter, what a great lead-off track. Favorite tracks for sure on here, Not for the Innocent, Young and Wasted, love it. All Hell's Breaking Loose. Lick It Up, the title track, is probably, as you know, one of the least heavy songs on there. Not much of a solo. There's pretty much no solo on that song, but yeah. And as corny as Dance All Over Your Face is, I love it. And On the Eighth Day, strong album through and through. Again, produced by Michael James Jackson too. But there it is, my number 1. Hopefully you sat through this whole thing. And yeah, Kiss, I definitely have a KISStory with this band. And it was sure nice to go through these albums and give them another spin. And, like I said, those memories came flooding back. A lot of this stuff from 79 to 98, I bought brand new and got to listen to them, got to know these albums. So, yeah, there it is. And like I said before, we will tackle... I'm just going to be taking a bit of a vacation here right away, but I'm going to kind of study up for a Scorpions ranking. I think that one will be next. And, the usual stuff that we'll throw in there, some updates and some spotlights or other ranking videos and whatever else we can talk about as far as hard rock and metal goes. But hope you enjoyed that one. Until next time, stay heavy.